Welcome to a random analysis of the Bitcoin software. If you like Bitcoin, do not do not watch this video. Just click it off now and pretend you didn't see this because this cannot be unseen. Okay? So the question here is how many times does the random function appear in the source code of a typical Bitcoin software? In our case, we're looking at the core Bitcoin CPP code the from its GitHub. Here I have random. We see that there's some test programs, there's some release notes. Um, we see Adderman CPP benchmarks helper, and then we get into something called tests and fuzz. And now we'll find that if all we were looking for was the word random, you'd find lots and lots of code where the random.h is included. Random.h and random CPP. We're saying, okay, so there's a very extensive use of random in Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, I think we can safely say that Bitcoin wouldn't function without random. Which raises a question, is random really random? Let's face it, where does random come from? And what if somebody could game the system by making every computer on the internet use a random that's not in fact random? You say, well that would be very difficult to do. Well, the reality is that none of these computers, not one Bitcoin client, as far as I know, is actually using a real random. That all randoms are in fact machine-generated pseudo-randoms. So they're not really random. And so in order to feel like or get close to a usable pseudo-random that is reasonably passable as random, we have to seed random with a so-called random seed. And we do that with something called entropy. So the computer generates some level of entropy, and that level of entropy has an intensely strong probability to not be something other than a random seed, and therefore the pseudo-random generated from that seed will never be regenerated identically anywhere else by chance because of all that massive amount of entropy in the system. So let's just say that instead of random computers all over the internet being the dominant mining source on Bitcoin, we were to manufacture millions of cards of, let's do an ASIC chip that would be so efficient that 90% that everybody mining Bitcoin would have to use it because otherwise energy would be too expensive. We would keep raising the difficulty of Bitcoin mining to the point where it didn't make any sense for anyone to use anything but our chip. Then we distribute vast quantities of our chip through 5 or 6 fake companies that are in fact all us. And in every one of those chips, the random is not entirely random and is non-random in a specific way that we know it will leave a certain percentage of the blocks unmineable because it's not truly random. And then the few or the one machine that is truly random can go ahead and win all those blocks, and everybody on Bitcoin will be cheated, and somehow this chip that you and I cannot get our hands on that actually does a fully random or fills in the hole or the void or the lack in the randomness of the distributed Bitcoin mining ASIC, well, the rest is history. So contact me directly if you want more details on just exactly how this would work. We can discuss it then. Thanks.